Hello guys, in this video I'm going to go through the roles. Very simple, very easy. You got this menu when you open the game and you can go into barracks to look through the roles, get to know them. So we start up here, a faction. There are different factions for every map. You can go through them like this and see what they look like. We go from the top. In every game there is one commander. To play commander you should play these roles first, because there's only one commander. He needs to know somewhat what he's doing. It's nothing wrong with being new, but if you want to try the commander role as a new player, I suggest you do that on the seeding. When the server is empty and building up the players, you can try the commander and feel free to play and have some fun. You see a little text here. The difference between a commander and infantry is that the commander can control the airstrikes, supply drops, he can spawn in vehicles. He is the center of the match. The tank crews need him to spawn tanks, the infantry need him to spawn supply trucks, and when the enemies are overwhelming the point, he can drop bombs over it. But all these cost resources, so he also needs to consider the resources and what to do and when. It's very tactical role, and it needs to be teamwork between the officers and the commander. Here is the loadout. It's nothing special for the commander. He's not in it for the fights. He should be driving supply trucks or watching the map to plan the next move. Officer is under the commander. Every officer are in charge of a unit of 6. He's the 6th, and then 5 infantry. The officer can talk to the commander through the radio. The unit under the officer can't talk to the commander. So the commander and officer have their own communication, and the officer are responsible to get that information further down to their infantry. The officer can also build spawn points. It can build garrisons for the whole team to spawn on, and it can build outposts for their unit to spawn on. The difference between officer and the rest of the infantry is that this building spawn points, the officers are the only one that can do it, so they need to focus on that. They can't be running around in the fights. They need to plan where the next spawn point is, and don't forget that. So it's also very tactical role, just as the commander. There's a text here you can read. Ability to place outposts and garrisons. So communication and build spawn points. That's the main thing for the officer. And lead his unit. The loadout here is not very special either. 3 nades. Then we got Rifleman. I used to say Rifleman is not a very special role. It doesn't have any special ability other than being a Rifleman. If you're new, or if you do not want to do anything special, you can choose Rifleman and be very handy for your officer and cover him. In the loadout you see you actually got a small ammunition box that you can place on the ground for the whole team to reload. Here you got a pistol, and here you got explosive ammo. So that can be handy to teamwork inside the unit and put the boxes down to reload for your friends. Assault. This is my favorite role. is what you want. You want to level up the assault. You get 6 grenades. That's very, very useful. And when you had fun with that, you get satchel. This is the same gun as the automatic Rifleman, but you get a satchel as well. So this is something to look forward to. It's very handy to clear out houses, buildings, and if you're running around and you see a tank, you got a satchel ready. Even got a satchel for enemy supply trucks. So this is my favorite role. It takes a while to level up to this, but you got this to look forward to, and then you got this. Automatic Rifleman, I have not played so much. Level 5 though. It is what it sounds like, Automatic Rifleman. So you start with this one, and then you get this one. Two grenades only. Medic. This role is very good to play as a beginner because you get very close to your teammates and the other teammates in the other units. You get to be where the action is. You get to see how people play, how people communicate. You are in it, in the action. People don't ask much of you other than being there for them and to revive them when they are unconscious. You use this morphine on other players and you can revive them to life again. When you level up, you even got a supply box you can drop on the ground for your teammates to refuel their bandages. All these infantry only have 2 bandages. You got 20. If you see anyone bleeding, you can use your bandage. They don't have to use their only 2 bandages. Here you got only a pistol. But this role is not for being in the action fighting. You should not go first. When attacking, you should go last. If someone is down, you are alive to save them. And it can mean so much to revive players and not have to spawn in way back. So you are very useful, but remember to keep in the back and people will love you. Support is very, very special a role, just because it's like a rifleman or any other, but the support got something called supplies. 1 box of supplies. These supplies are very special because when you put them on the ground, your officer or commander can use them to build a spawn point. You can't build spawn points without supplies. So these are very, very much worth. You should not place them wherever you want. You should communicate with your officer where he wants them. The officer decides where you should put them. Because when you have put these down, you have a cooldown for the next box. And it takes several minutes to get a new box. And if you have placed them down at the wrong place, the officer and the commander needs to wait for you to get new ones. And that's not good. So keep them safe until your officer needs them and wants them. When you level up, you get 3 different supplies. You get the spawn point supplies, you get ammunition, and you get explosive ammo. So you can help out your teammates and you can help out to build spawn points. It's a very, very important role. And when you level up even further, you get a flamethrower. Like, what is that? I think they put this in because there's not many who wants to play support. I love to play support, but there are so many other cool roles. So support is kind of left out to those who being forced to play it. But they put this flamethrower in, so I had a great time trying to level up because I look forward to be playing with this one. This supply box can also be used to build defenses, to build barricades, to build bunkers, to build barbed wire. So everything you build, you need supplies. And the commander can do supply drops for you from the sky, or you can, as a player, put down supplies from your inventory. And that's very good because the enemies can't see it. If the commander put down a supply drop from the sky, it's very clear to the enemy where the supplies are going down. They know the location. If you as a support player can put this box down for your officer, you got a spawn point that the enemies do not know about. So that's very good. Machine gunner is what you think it is. It's a machine gunner. I have not played that much, but maybe more in the future. This role I'm no expert on, but it's all about suppressing fire. You help your team move and you stop the enemies from moving. If your team needs to go somewhere, it can be like a line of defense with your shots to make the enemies, they can't move there, and your friends can move freely with this suppressing fire, if you know what I mean. You can of course find a good spot high up in houses, windows, up on walls, bushes, trees even, and then camp a spawn point, enemy spawn point, and get a lot of kills. But remember to be very useful for your team as well, and help them move forward and stop the enemies from moving. Anti-tank is what you think it is. You got this Car 98 and then you got this one to take down enemy tanks. There's a whole guide on how to use this. It's all about the different models of the tanks, the different sizes, light, medium, heavy, and there's a bunch of different ways, like you need to hit them from behind, where their weak points are on the vehicle, which tanks takes 2 shots or even 3 shots. Like, it's all that to know. I recommend to watch a guide or two about it, but you can also try the role and just shoot the tank and have fun. I have done it once or twice when it was a tank that needed to be taken down. I took the role and just went for it, but I am no expert on this role, but it is so useful. The anti-tank is so much worth it on the battlefield. You can also use this to take down enemy garrisons. This is you can't take down enemy garrisons with grenades, but this one, you shoot a shot on enemy garrison and boom, it's gone. Very effective. You can also use it on players. If there's a house full of enemies, 1 shot, boom, all dead. So it's very useful to more than just tanks. And then you see here the first loadout and the second, and then you have the last one. You got a mine to put on a road for enemy tanks, and you got a satchel, and that satchel you can put on tanks or buildings or spawn points. Engineer is like support. Maybe not many play it, but it's a very important role, because the engineer, it can build fortifications, defenses, barbed wire, all kind of stuff. But the most important thing is that it can build nodes. You see here if it says anything about nodes. Doesn't say anything about nodes, the most important part of the engineer role. That's very strange. You remember I told about the commander needing resources to use his abilities? Maybe I can put in a picture or something. The engineer build nodes, manpower nodes, munition nodes, and fuel nodes, and these nodes generates resources during the game for the commander to use. If we have no nodes, it takes longer time to the cooldown on all the abilities. It takes longer to spawn time. Like it can be so successful if you got all the nodes up. So when the game begins, the engineer needs supplies from a supply truck or a supply drop or a support supply box. It needs supplies to build up a set of nodes. A set of nodes is one fuel node, one munition node, and one manpower node that they put on the ground, and then they generate resources for the team. The enemies can dismantle, take down these nodes, and you have to build new ones. But in the start of the game, you try to get your sets up, and like I said, these engineers can also build fortifications and defenses, as it says here, barbed wire. If you're on an attacking point attacking, often these engineers are in the back on the defense point, preparing the defense point for an possible attack. So if we have to fall back to the defensive point, they have prepared for the best defense there. There's a lot of videos on this, how to build defenses. They also got a torch, which is very handy. This torch, you can help out the tank crews. If a tank is burning, if a supply truck is burning, you can repair it with this torch, so they don't have to go all the way back to HQ to repair themselves. If you are on the battlefield, you can help them get repaired. You also get mine that takes down infantry, and you get a teller mine that you put on the ground on roads for enemy tanks. Here you even got a satchel, but you see there's no wrench here. So when you are building, you need to switch to this loadout to get the wrench you can build. But then you can switch over to this one if you want to, so you can have a useful satchel on you. But remember to switch the loadout when you're building nodes and defenses, you need this one. So that is the infantry, and now we get to armor. There we have one tank commander and crewman. The difference is that the tank commander have radio contact with the officer and the commander. So it's like an officer of the tank, if you know what I mean. And then we get crewman that is under the tank commander. Often there are units of 3, one tank commander and 2 crewmen. Here, driver, gunner or periscope. Then we come to this, Recon. There's only 2 duos of Recon in every team. That's the difference. You can open up a new unit with the infantry, as many as you want, until the server is full. But Recon is only 2 duos. So those 2 duos are very important because they got some abilities that the rest of the infantry do not have. The spotter have radio contact with the officer and commander, and the spotter can put down the OP for this duo in enemy locked sector. They can move very, very far behind enemy lines and have a spawn point with them. The only class that can place a deploy point within enemy territory. Use this to infiltrate deep within their lines and harass the enemy before they even get to the front. Like this is attacking from behind and taking down the enemy spawn points, taking down the enemy nodes, and take down the enemy artillery when that is going on. Just being a pain in the ass. It's a very, very much fun role, actually. And sniper is the only role with a scoped gun. Every faction have different loadouts, of course. look through them. What's your favorites? What you want to level up and get? Like here you get Molotovs. It's very much fun. SVT40 is my favorite. And Great Britain, not so much. I don't like the guns there, but it's fun that it's different. Yeah. Here you get it. Trench gun, it's very much fun. So go into barracks and have a look through. I know there's different play styles. Some play only machine gunner, machine gunner, machine gunner, machine gunner, that's all they do. Some play only anti-tank and so on. I enjoy when you play with friends and you just switch around these. If I am medic and there is a tank coming in and I'm dead, I switch over to anti-tank immediately because it needs to be taken down the tank. So I'm not going in with medic again when I'm respawning. I'm choosing the role that's needed for a situation, and that is very, very effectful. And also if you're support and you put down your supplies and you have a cooldown, you can leave the support role, take another one, and your friend in the unit can take the support, and that friend have a new supply box to drop, and that is what we call a double drop. You can switch quick between the support role and get many boxes out in a short amount of time instead of waiting for a cooldown. If you switch a role with each other, you get a new box and a new box and a new box. 2 boxes is 100 supplies, and that gives you the ability to build in enemy zone, red zone. And you can build a very, very sneaky attack area behind enemy lines if you do the teamwork.